I am Dr. Ray Dykes, and this is the Personal Faith Program, a series of podcasts on personal faith with a passion, how to know what you really believe. This is the next to the last of these podcasts, and this one is continuing with the idea of how do I bring my personal faith to conscious expression. This podcast specifically is about how can you express your faith to children. If you have children or grandchildren, they're looking right in your face to see what the face of God looks like. They will see in you godlike qualities for good or ill. If you teach or coach children, what they experience interacting with you will be a part of their clay for the rest of their lives. It's so important to know what you believe and to express your faith to children in word and deed with honesty and integrity. In other words, tell them what you believe, but also tell them what you wonder about and what you don't know. You cannot give them your belief bricks, but you can give them straw that's based on your belief bricks. Tell children your faith stories. Describe to them the clay, your experiences that you used to make your belief bricks. Reveal to them the straw that made a real difference to you as you did your faith building. Be honest about those aspects of your faith that are based on your hopes and dreams. Tell them the truth and don't mislead them, as many well-meaning parents have done in the past. Let them know their clay is and will be different from yours, and their straw will be different from yours, so that their belief bricks will be different from yours. That's the way it should be. Give children the same freedom to build their houses of faith that you are enjoying. Each of the last 4 generations of Americans have been more insistent on thinking for themselves about spiritual matters than the previous generation. Baby boomers were more insistent than builders. Generation X is less likely to follow blindly than baby boomers. The millennial generation is looking for newer ways of thinking about everything. All of this is a matter of degrees of separation, not a cataclysmic shift, but there are fewer children today who will take the faith of anyone else as truth for them. Let's reverse the equation. What do children have to tell you about faith? First, they have their stories. Invite them to tell you their faith stories. Ask them when and where they met God or godlike people or experienced awesome moments when they felt the presence or absence of God. Here's the kind of story that you may hear. A little boy wanted to meet God. He knew it was a long trip to where God lived, so he packed his suitcase with Twinkies and a 6-pack of Coca-Cola and started off. He'd walked quite a distance when he passed a park where he saw an old man sitting on a bench staring at the pigeons. The boy was getting tired and hungry, so he sat down next to the old man and opened his suitcase. He was about to take a drink of his Coke when he noticed the old man looked hungry. So he offered him a Twinkie. The old man accepted it gratefully and smiled at the boy, though he did not speak. His smile was so pleasant that the boy wanted to see it again, so he offered him a Coke. Again, the old man smiled. The boy was delighted. They sat there a long time, eating Twinkies and drinking Cokes and smiling, but never said a word. As the afternoon shadows grew longer, the boy realized how tired he was, and he got up to leave, but before he had gone more than a few steps, he turned around and put down his suitcase and ran back to the old man and gave him a hug. The old man smiled the biggest smile ever. When the boy opened the door to his own house a short time later, his mother was surprised by the look of joy on his face. She asked him, "What did you do today that made you so happy?" He replied, "I had lunch with God." Before his mother could respond, he added, "You know what? He's got the most beautiful smile I've ever seen." Meanwhile, the old man returned to the home of his son, where he lived. His son was stunned by the look of peace on his face and asked, "Dad, "What did you do today that made you so happy?" The old man said, "I ate Twinkies and drank Cokes in the park with God." Before his son could reply, the old man added, "And you know, he's much younger than I expected." Secondly, listen carefully to the children as they tell their stories. If it's appropriate, help them find the meaning in the experiences they relate in their stories. Don't tell children that they didn't experience what they say they experienced. Guide them with questions toward their understanding of the depth of a holy moment, an awesome experience, a God time. Thirdly, encourage children to find the spiritual symbols in the movies and TV shows they see. In an earlier podcast, I told you about a group of 5th through 8th graders that I worked with. After showing them how to pull out spiritual symbols from movies, they could do it on their own with a sense of pride and accomplishment. They worked with me on faith building for 4 hours on a Saturday afternoon in a camp setting. Their leaders were astonished that they were so attentive and interested to spend that kind of time doing faith stuff with so much to play with all around them. My comment to their leaders was that children are interested in dealing with matters of faith that are important to them. When expressing your faith to children, remember to do it using their agenda, not yours. Marty and Tamara are both attorneys. They have 2 boys, Stephen and Brooks. They wanted to tell their children what they believed, but they hesitated, knowing they weren't sure what they believed. They participated in a workshop on personal faith with a passion, and they began building their houses of faith. They have worked hard to mold bricks and build their faith. They're ecstatic about being able to answer their boys' faith questions. They no longer feel that they have to take Stephen and Brooks to a religious professional for faith discussions. Even though they're regular churchgoers, they deal with issues of faith in their home. Children need to receive good religious information from their parents. Books and religious institutions are also available to provide the straw which children can use early in life to form belief bricks, and even more so as they grow older. Bricks formed in early life are primarily about values, and values are important for children and adolescents. See you next time.